How do you get to that level, right? I mean, what do you do to where the pentatonic scale becomes so a part of who you are that you don't even have to think about it? Well, it starts with how you practice it, and when you practice it, how much you practice it, the way you practice it. Am I making sense here? You should have a guitar in every room. You should play it while you're watching TV. You should go through your scales while you're watching a movie, while you're just vegging out on the couch. This is where cheap electrics come in. You can keep them in every room in the house, right? And the important thing, though, is to start to internalize the entire pattern. If all you ever do is, and that's it, you're not going to progress very much. But if you want to get to where you can play stuff like you just heard, where you can just fly, if you want to be able to do that, you really got to internalize that entire pattern. And so here are a few exercises that can help you get there. The first thing, if you don't know your 5 boxes, you got to learn your 5 boxes. Now, in the link in the description is a few different exercises. At the end of this video, there are some exercises where you can see the tab, and there's kind of a backing track for you to jam along with. But really, you got to find what works for you, what motivates you. So pick your genre, go find a backing track if that works for you. For me, I hate the metronome. I think it's the lamest thing in the world, and so I don't like to use it. But you can search hi-hat metronome. That sounds a little more like music. You can search for any genre of backing track that's out there. Just find the key that you want to work on your scale, and have a setup. Have a place dedicated for you to really zoom in on that. If you don't have a little Bluetooth speaker for your phone, get one. They're super cheap, and that way you can just pull up the backing track on YouTube, send the audio there with your acoustic guitar or your electric guitar, unplugged even, anywhere in the house, outside, you can practice your scales. Now, like I said, learn the boxes first. If you haven't learned all 5 boxes, start with A minor pentatonic. That's really common and useful. You can play in C, you can play in A minor, you can play A7 blues. You can do a lot with that. But once you get those 5 boxes, then you need to stop thinking this way and start thinking this way when it comes to your scales. And what I mean by that is don't think of them as boxes. Learn to see the entire pattern, right? And one way to do that is to practice your scales this way as opposed to this way. So we can start one string at a time, and this is a fun exercise that I like to do. It causes you to learn that pattern. You can insert these riffs into your improvisations. It sounds really cool to just kind of ascend and work your way up one string. It's a really emotional technique, as Tim Pierce and Mateus Asato described in that video. So what I like to do is just using the first and third finger and really I just pick once, and this is a good way to work on legato. You want to have enough energy in your slides and your hammer-ons to make it all the way up the neck. So I play the pentatonic scale, but just on one string. So if you learn your boxes, and you can think, oh, this is just the top of those boxes. And so I'm gonna hammer on, and then I'm gonna slide. See, you can do that on every string. There's tab for this at the end of this video. You can download the tab in the link in the description, but it's really a fun exercise to do. You can do it with a backing track, hi-hat and metronome, but that really helps you break out of the boxes and start to see the pattern. You got to do it on each string. So it doesn't matter really where you end or how you do it, but it can help you internalize that pattern. When you get it on one string, then you can do two strings. And here's how I like to do that. So it's kind of a pattern of 16th notes there. Oh. So you get the idea. You can work your way all the way up the neck that way. Once you get two strings down and you want to do all two strings, all sets of two strings on your guitar there, then you can add the 3-string pattern. And so that would look something like this. And I just came up with this the other day, so I'm still working on it myself, but it can really make a difference in how you start to see that pattern. You start to internalize the pattern. And that way, when you start to jam along to a track, you can make those big jumps. Like Mateus Asato likes to, a lot of what he does is just a pentatonic run, but he does it either super fast or he makes these big jumps between positions. Like he'll totally skip positions. And if you're improvising that way, you really got to internalize the pattern. You can't just think, oh, I'm going to go from box 5 down to box 3. I mean, you can think that way, but if you internalize the pattern, there's less thinking that goes on, and you're just playing a minor pentatonic. You're no longer thinking which box you're in. You just know where you are on the fretboard. That makes all the difference. So here are a few licks that make the big jump. So this is from his Don't Dream It's Over. Here's one from 70 times 7. Starts on a C chord. You just add the G on top, so it's kind of a C over G chord. And then he's just going with the C major pentatonic, which is the same as the A minor. So that's one way to make some jumps, right? Like you do those quick, it's an octave jump, right? Like this is, or well, it's not an octave, it's playing the same note. This and this are the same note, but you do that quickly. If you've practiced moving around on that scale, that movement becomes easy. Same with, see, I'm sliding from 12 down to 5. That's a pretty big jump. You got to know where to land. You got to know where the target is there. So that makes a big difference. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope these exercises will become part of who you are as a player. I hope they'll make a big difference in your improvising. Now, a lot of people say don't noodle. Oh, it's bad. Well, if you do it the right way, it can be incredible, but you got to noodle some scales, not just, I mean, that has its place, but if you start to do things like that, you want to get faster, you want to structure things so that you're pushing yourself. So pick one of these exercises and do it at a speed that's comfortable, where you can do it cleanly and precisely, and get that in your fingers, get that in your muscle memory. And then once you can do it cleanly, increase the speed. So find a backing track that's in a faster speed, or increase the speed of the metronome, and push yourself each time. So yeah, there's noodling on the couch where you're just playing the scale, there's no metronome. If you really want to push yourself, play to the metronome or the backing track, go as fast as you can cleanly, and then step it up. Treat it like a video game, right? Like, you know, when I was a kid, I'd try to play a game all the way through. The older I get, I don't have as much time to do that, but it's still a rewarding experience, because a lot of games are designed so that you play a little while, you level up, you get new equipment, and It's a rewarding experience because you've achieved something. You feel a sense of accomplishment. So get to where you can nail it and on a small scale. So you want to nail it at 75 beats per minute. And then you want to nail it at 85, 95, 105. Keep leveling up, and before you know it, you'll have internalized that pattern, and you can really fly on it. And then you need to do things like change keys, do the scale in a totally different key. But it can really maximize your practice time if you push yourself, if you set goals like today, I'm going to master this 2-string thing at 100 beats per minute. There's a goal. You've leveled up. Next time you can increase it to 105 and you just keep climbing. So, hey, I hope I've helped you. Leave me a like and comment. Let me know what you do to practice your scales. Have fun. Keep playing.